the McLaren 750S. Oh yeah, baby. Woo, okay. We like this. This is a supercar to end all supercars. Because in a way, it's aiming to be analog. It's aiming to be engaging, to be lightweight, to be simple. It's not like the Ferrari 296. It's not hybrid. It's not V6. This is a V8 twin turbo, 4-liter. It's not trying to downsize anything. It's not trying to be too technological. It is using the very best of analog tech. And this has got something on the Huracan, because the Huracan, I've said it before, even the Technica, the STO, those are not driver's cars. Those cars are very, very front limited, really numb steering. They're just meant to look crazy. The 296, that is a lovely car, I have to admit. It's hybrid, it's heavy, it's complicated. This is simple, lightweight, ragged motoring. This is the driver's supercar. So why is it the driver's supercar? Well, there's a lot that goes into that, mostly underneath this incredible Frank Stephenson designed body, which is basically the same as the 720S. I know, looks, feels, smells, we'll get past that in a second. But it's down to what's underneath. It looks like a supercar, but it's a sports car underneath. It's dual wishbones all around, but most importantly, it has hydraulic power steering, which is the same as before, as every McLaren ever, because that's what they do. They prefer it for feel, for feedback, for tactility. That's the critical part of this car. But also, it got a bunch of goodies from the 765 LT. Not only do you get the 765's 4-liter twin-turbo V8 flat plane, but a little detuned because it can't be a 765, it's 750, you get the shorter gear ratios and the gearbox from the 765 completely. You get the 765 suspension, you get the springs, the dampers, and there's no sway bars because it's hydraulically cross-linked. It's this very clever system that's been around since the 720S and the MP412C. We all know and love it, but you get the 765's calibration. You also pay a lot more for that privilege. It's no longer the bargain basement that the 720 was. This thing is damn near $400,000. 765 with a $500,000 car, it's really creeping up there. So you're not getting this for free. But you still get this wonderful Frank Stephenson designed body. I've mentioned that twice because it's really important. Modern McLarens are no longer designed by that guy, and this is still such a beautiful car. It's one of these things where you stare at it, and every new line, every geometry is just incredible. This little carve out here, the way the intakes are hidden here in the door, and there's this incredible scoop in there. And you look at it from the front, it's just unbelievable because this is one of the most gorgeous supercars ever made, just like the P1, which he also designed. The Artura can't quite match this, to be honest. So there's still something to this. You can complain that it looks old and it looks like the 720, but it's still so beautiful, and it's still so good, and it's still so good to drive. And I should shut up and drive it. Let's go. So first things first, I'm gonna put this in track powertrain. Now I'm gonna put it in track handling. ESC, push once for dynamic, push and hold for off, confirm selection. First you have to go dynamic, then to turn it off. Then we're gonna hit manual mode, so I have manual control of the gears. Through these lovely paddles, which are connected to one another, you can push forward on the plus for a downshift, or push forward on the minus for an upshift. It's really quite nice. It means you could drive one-handed if you want. This is where this car comes alive, because Huracan with that screaming V10, which is now gone, it's now Temerario, so it's gonna feel more like a McLaren. That car, everything's in the engine. The Ferrari, it's all about the lightness of input, the way it floats from corner to corner, the way that Ferrari handles, but it has light steering, light throttle, light brakes, light everything. The movement of that car is a lot from chassis, not necessarily in tactility or feel. This 750S has something the others don't. That's tactility. That's this hydraulic steering, which is just the best. It's the best steering in the business. It's better than Porsche. It's better than anybody. And it's because I feel things fighting through the wheel when I'm steering and I'm working it. I can feel the slip angle of the tire. I can feel what's left. I can feel it lighten as I roll over and understeer if I do so, or I feel it trace as I get into oversteer. The 720 had this sort of rigid platform idea where it wouldn't roll, it wouldn't pitch, it wouldn't dive. What happened was with the 765, the engineers decided, okay, we want to add roll back into it. We want to add dive. We want to add body motion to let the drivers know. Because there's a lot of complaints from people saying the 720 was very numb, hard to read, because you couldn't feel the body movement. So with the 765 suspension cowl, you have that. You have that loveliness from the 765. And the 765 is one of my favorite McLarens ever because it is ridiculous, but it's also fun to drive at low speed. It's fun to just cruise around, just like I was doing there. This car has that virtue. I think the 765 had a slightly more precise steering rack, but I'm really not complaining with this car. This is so good. You also get the 765 short gear ratios and powertrain. No one asked for a shorter gear ratio with this much power. It doesn't need more, but look at this. Christ alive, that is fast. That's just stupid. The thing is, the car weighs nothing. It weighs damn near 3,000 pounds in its lightest trim. That is nothing. This car weighs so little compared to the Ferrari and the Huracan for the matter. And the Temerario, the V8 thing, will only be heavier. Oh God. And you can feel it in the handling. This is the only carbon tub car in the class. You can feel the rigidity of that. It feels like a sports car first and a supercar second. It is super in its performance, it's super in its looks, but when I drive it, it has the approachability and friendliness of a sports car. I feel like I'm driving something that's meant for me, not for a rich guy. It's meant for someone who really will appreciate driving it. This V8, it's not musical, it's lovely, it sounds exotic, it sounds really good, it's potent. God, it's potent. It's so powerful. But it's kind of like a Cosworth DFE, or I secretly am not a huge Cosworth DFE fan. Even though they rev to 11,000, it just sort of doesn't do anything up there. It just sounds like it's sped up. It doesn't change pitch like a 6-cylinder engine or a 10-cylinder engine. It doesn't have these textures and sounds that tug at your heartstring. That's really its only issue is passion. Its only issue is that it's the V8 is exotic, it's nice, but it's not terribly special. Where it does win in terms of experience is the sound of the turbochargers, the little blow-off sounds of you hear, and that's cool. I like the turbo sounds. I like that it's loud and proud induction sound. The thing is, you read the spec sheet on this car and you think, man, that looks like a handful. You think it'd be edgy, the hydraulic steering would be barking and talking at you, the carbon tub with rigidity. You think this car would try to spit you off the road, but it's edgy and precise while also being friendly at the limit. Either axle breaks away really gently, even though the grip is very high. It's a really clever trick. It's approachably edgy. It's so easy to get to grips with this thing. The balance of the thing is so lovely. Drive it in on the brakes, feel the steering way up, turns in nice, doesn't yaw too much, dances really nice, turns in as one unit, but it's so easy to drive it in on the brakes because the brake pedal in this car is actually very special. You have this bit of a dead zone at the top. It's not really a dead zone, so to speak. You kind of get into the first bit of it, and it's specifically meant for left foot braking. It's meant to sort of add fine tuning. You could right foot brake it just fine, but you actually have to put a lot of pedal effort into this car to get it stopped. But that makes it really easy to parse out pressure, to decide how much brake pressure to use on corner entry. Makes it really easy to not use too much. Vice versa, you have to think about slowing this car down. When you're braking, you got to commit to the pedal and brake hard. Coming to a stop in this car can feel a little sketchy sometimes because the brakes feel like they don't work, but they actually do. They just take a bit of effort. But it's so intuitive once you get used to it because you don't ever overslow the car. You can just glide it into a turn. It helps you drive faster. There's some things here with the interior. So it functionally looks the same except for this. They changed this gauge cluster binnacle thing. They added CarPlay to this, but it pretty much looks the same as before. Right now we're in comfort. These two things control the drive modes of the car. So you have separate powertrain and handling adjustments, which is just like the 750S had down here, except now they're up here. And you have a smaller fixed gauge cluster instead of the thing that rotates from the 720S. So it's a little bit different. It's more like the Artura's interior that they introduced a couple years back. So you have this lovely sort of tactile thing where you can mess with how the car drives separately. So you can have track powertrain, comfort handling, or track handling and comfort powertrain if you're so inclined. And there's big cracks on this road that I'm driving over right now. They're very minimal. Not a lot comes through. The damping is so lovely. It's such a magic carpet ride on this thing. It's like a Rolls Royce. You could take this on the freeway, take it on a long road trip, and it's comfortable. I have a reasonable amount of space except for my left foot, which is mostly taken up by the carbon tub, but I'm centered. The driving position's great. I can see out of the car. I can look behind me, and there's great visibility. There's a lot of great things that come from the 720S, and I kind of love that I'm sitting here and there's like creaks and stuff. I know McLaren quality is a thing. People talk about it. And it's true. There's McLarens that got issues. That's for sure. The Artura has not been an easy development for that car. And even 720s, they had issues with cracking windshields. You know, but for the most part, I think if you drive these things, they work. And you deal with the little quality issues, and it's just part of the experience. It's part of the rawness of the thing. It's part of the viscerality of it. The Porsche crowd will argue to the death that, you know, a GT3 RS is superior to this. I'm like, man, like a GT3 is just kind of hooked up. This is cool. Like, it's just hooked up. It's just fast. This makes me feel alive. I don't really care if the GT3 is faster on the Nürburgring. I feel absolutely involved with this car in a way that I don't feel in an RS. And I'm sure I'm not. Oh, but the power. Oh, I love horsepower, man. You don't get that in a 911. Maybe in the GTS, but this is like next level, you know? Next level in cost, too. That's the thing is, I have to talk about 911s with this thing. I have to talk about a GT3 and a GT3 RS and a 911 ST because those cars are marked up to the price of this thing. And that's just preposterous to me. That's a great car. I love a 911, but I would not pay McLaren money for one of those. I'd pay McLaren money for a McLaren. It's kind of a shame these things are mostly owned by influencers who just crash them into bushes because this is such a great car. And I just feel, man, these are better served by people who love to track, who love to drive. This is for the kind of guy who wants a supercar. They can take up to Angeles Crest or whatever, take it for a rip on a back road, you know, tail of the dragon, whatever, and have a great time doing it. It's not about stunning, even though you are stunning in this thing, for sure. You're absolutely stunned. For sure. 100%. Pull up in a green McLaren, you're trying to flex. But not as much as a Ferrari. 720S is a spectacular supercar. You can have them so cheap now. You can have them in the high hundreds. But this with the 765 equipment, with the gearbox, with the suspension, with everything, this feels like more of a sports car than the 720 ever did. The 720 always had this sort of numbness to it. I agree. It was too well controlled. The platform was too good in that car. It was just trying something that didn't feel natural. Flat cornering just feels odd. You want roll, you want body motion, you want movement. Body roll is a good thing. This car is just a step beyond the 720. It's so much more communicative. It's so much more fun to drive on a back road. This feels legit like a 765. The only thing it doesn't feel 765 is that 765 is a lot louder, a lot more exposed carbon, a lot rawer feeling. I could daily this. I put it in comfort suspension. I could drive this around. And then I could go out in the canyons, have an absolute rip. Let's give it a little rip here. Christ. Holy shit. So the driver's supercar. It's been an interesting journey with the 720 to the 765, you know, the 700 series cars. When this came out, the Ferrari 488 and F8 were twin-turbo V8 mid-engine, and the Huracan was its V10 lunatic, you know, Futureland thing over there. This is now the classic one. Now it's the analog one, because the 296 is a V6 twin-turbo hybrid, and the Temerario, which is the upcoming Lambo replacing the V10 current Huracan, is a V8 high-revving twin-turbo also hybrid. This is suddenly the analog option. It has hydraulic steering. It's like a lightweight, it's simple, it's carbon tub. It's actually now unique when before it was kind of a follower. It is a really genuinely lovely thing to drive. It drives like a sports car first, not a supercar. The other ones all drive super. They all do super things. They make you feel all special and stuff. And the driving experience kind of comes second in those cars. Where this, it is front and center. You're meant to be driving the car. You're meant to be feeling the steering, driving it into a corner, drifting it around, driving this thing properly. That's what it wants. It is an actual driver's car. I will argue that to the death versus the 296 and the Temerario and the Huracan. That's why you should check this thing out. And if you can afford it, you should probably buy this instead of anything else.